Alright you guys, so today we're not doing a voiceover. I am just coming at you kind of live. I wanted to switch things up for this Food Friday. We're going to be making some butternut squash soup. What you're going to need is a whole squash. Then you're going to need some garlic cloves. I'm using 2 and I keep them nice and thick because we're going to be blending all of this later on. I also have some onions, 2 bouillon cubes. These are the garden veggie ones from Stop and Shop, and I believe Whole Foods carries these now as well. And then I have some field roast vegan sausage. This was going bad in the fridge, so I figured that I would add it in the mix. I normally don't add this part. If you would like to for some extra flavor, you can. So the next part that I do is I make sure that my pan is warmed up on medium heat. Now it is time for me to add in the garlic cloves, the onions, and a dash of water. We're gonna add a lot more, but this is just to kind of bring out the flavors and help these little guys cook. Once when you start to smell the garlic and the onions, you can go ahead and add in some seasonings, whatever you like. We normally add the main suspects like I show in every food video. And for those that don't know, these are our main suspects. And when you're doing soup like this, you want to add in a bunch of seasoning. Even though we're adding the bouillon cubes, this stuff is going to bring out flavor as well. So now that everything looks like this and the aroma is out in the air, you can go in and add your water. What I like to do is I like to fill it up halfway, because the minute I put my butternut squash in here, it's going to add some weight and it's going to overfill the pan if I fill the water all the way to the top. So do half, kind of eyeball it. If you could fit more than half water in here, then do so, because whatever's left over for broth you can use for another soup either the next couple of days, or you can even use it to boil your rice. So leftover broth is always good. The next step is to just add in your water halfway, all of your butternut squash cubes, along with your 2 bouillon vegetable seasoning cubes. So what I like to do when the water is all in there, all the vegetables are in there, I like to cover the top with a layer of seasoning, a really thick layer of seasoning, and I have the heat on high. So I'm just gonna cover this up so it can fully cook. So this is gonna take about an hour, maybe less, but I advise you guys to always check the butternut squash with a fork, stab a fork in there after a half hour. If they're soft, then it will be time to do the next step. And also, like I said, you don't have to be like me, but I'm going the extra mile where I'm gonna saute all of this and add it in the butternut squash towards the end. When it's completely done and blended, this is what's gonna, be like the whole pieces that's left of it. So I got my fork, and you want to try to find the little guys and stab them. Make sure they're nice and buttery. See how they just fall right off the fork? So that means they're done when they're falling off the fork like that. Next step is to add your butternut squash into your blender with 1 cup of broth and then just blend away. Alright you guys, so this is the texture that you want. It's very similar to applesauce texture, very thick when you pick it up. We are gonna water it down, not water it down, but we're gonna add in some coconut milk. I'm gonna bring this back into the pan. And I already put away the leftover broth. There was about half a pan left of seasoned broth. You don't want to use it all. Obviously, like I told you before, you want to save that for any other recipes that you're doing. Now you can pour it all back in to the same pan that you used, because we're going to add in the last ingredient. And like I said, I'm going to use some coconut milk. So I'm going to use about half a can. It does make a mess when it comes out. So you want to mix that around pretty well. Another thing that I forgot to mention when it comes to making soup is to always taste test. Taste test every step that you're doing so it's seasoned correctly, there's enough salt, because you don't want to sit down when everything's done and there's no taste to the soup that you work so hard on. Anyways, I really hope you guys try out this recipe. It is so good and I'm pretty sure every family member will enjoy this. Even if you have a family member that doesn't like coconut, you barely can taste it in this soup. I did add in the vegan sausage and onions, like I said, towards the end. That's optional. I also added in a little bit of parsley, again, optional. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you try this recipe out, and I will catch you next Friday.